Manchester from the Hill. So this must-have swing vote from Senator Joe Manchin. He knows he's the make-or-break vote. He said for a long time he's concerned about the cost and the scope of this bill. But how much authority does he really wield in terms of slicing and dicing Build Back Better down?
Well, I think in a way he holds quite a bit of authority because President Biden needs Joe Manchin to get this legislation across, not only before Christmas, but also to get this major part of his agenda passed ahead of next year going into the 2022 midterms. You know, Adrienne, Joe Manchin is such an interesting character because he's really paying attention to the economic and financial environment that's surrounding Build Back Better, and that's really shaping a lot of the conversation going into the midterms. And what I mean by that is that he is very concerned about inflation, a talking point that Republicans actually have been using to really push back against this bill. Joe Manchin essentially saying that he's concerned that in essentially putting all of this money into the economy at this time through this legislation could have a negative impact on inflation. He also said he was very concerned about that Congressional Budget Office CBO score that was released this week, saying he believed it was too expensive. It could have a negative impact on the economy. The White House, of course, pushing back on that CBO score. But Joe Manchin very much walking a fine line between Republicans and Democrats, and once again wielding that authority as a major centrist Democratic swing vote.
Well, and yeah, as you mentioned, people in both parties feeling that he carries so much sway and could potentially help their platform. But this legislation already was pared down significantly from its original $3.5 trillion price tag. But are his concerns justified? He's saying that the price could really go up. Is there truth to that?
You know, I think it depends. I think there's a concern as to what maybe some more progressive members of the Senate could do in terms of raising concerns about the price being too low. They obviously want more money, more programs into this legislation to combat a lot of the issues they say that are important, such as climate change, for example, you know, all of those other social spending programs. So, you know, I think there is, he does view himself in many ways as a bit of a check on this legislation in terms of paring it down. You also have to remember that Joe Manchin comes from a more conservative state. He believes that he is representing his own constituents by saying, look, I want a smaller government spending program. So he says he's representing the will of his own constituents, but you obviously have other members in the Senate who would say the opposite, or who would say they're representing the will of their constituents, but are on the opposite side of the debate.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And again, I think his big platform's message was that we can't throw money at every problem, that we have to have actual plans. But
yes,
we're going to see what happens with his. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.